People, what up, what's good? We got a new patch. Welcome back to another Marvel Snap Balance patch balance update vid. Before we even get into it, man, y'all be sure to like, subscribe, follow me on all the socials. They're all in the in the description. And let me tell y'all something, man. We've been complaining about this game ever since Red Hulk came out. So we've been complaining about 15 days, and I'm here to tell you that we're not done complaining. Right, so let's look at all these cards and let's talk about them, man. We got Red Hulk, US Agent, Jean Grey, Stature, Mantis, and Thor. Now, before I even really talk about this patch, this is the only... You know what? Let's just get straight into it. Let's get straight into it. They nerfed the Red Hulk barely. I don't even think this is really a nerf, and let's talk about it. So they changed him to 6'9" power. I'm going to read what they have to say, and I'm going to explain why I think this doesn't matter at all. Red Hulk has been the best 6 cost card in the game since release, and even created upticks in a handful of other options that effectively countered one big play like Leader and Spectrum. Elements of the strength and its counters were intentional, given the mechanic. Revealing Red Hulk to your opponent was a novel bit of mechanical space we rarely expose. We expected that to mean Red Hulk's cube gain rate would be much lower when compared to similarly winning decks, due to it being very difficult to get the final double. So part of the card's baseline strength was compensation for that downside. However, Red Hulk's cube gain rate has also been quite strong, leading to today's nerf to level the playing field. Some of us have wondered how many 8 cube games Red Hulk was stealing by tricking opponents into countering the big guy, only to lose to a combination of smaller cards. So they went with a new approach to Red Hulk, right? You can see when your opponent has him in their hand. The problem, they thought that would make him worse, right? And so they're nerfing him because they realized that was not the case, leading to today's nerf to level the playing field. So I'm not gonna go into super depth, or else we'll be here for an hour. But let me just explain something to y'all simply. Even at 6'9", right? I have all these. Forget all the cards that are weaker than 6'11". If you look at Scar and above, every card with 11 or higher power has a drawback. Scar costs 2 less. You might think this is actually a good thing, but this causes you to run cards like Sentry, Atuma, Typhoid, Red Skull, and all of those cards have drawbacks. So his ability is actually a drawback, right? Orca, he has to be the only card in his lane to get boosted. Magneto, you might lose the game because you're moving the 3s and 4s over there. Hulk, no ability, but if you do want the ability, you need to have high evo on your deck, and he only gets +2 every time you don't use all your energy. +2, and you have to have another card on your deck. Drawbacks: Death, 8 costs. Drawback: Giganto, you can only play him on one side of the board. Drawback: we don't even need to talk about her. We don't need to talk about him. We don't need to talk about him. Even at 6'9", you guys have to understand there are so many games where you don't have anything to play. So forget 6'9". He's automatically 6'13". He's 6'13" with no drawback. Sure, so they're saying the drawback is that your opponent can see that you have him. Okay, what can you do about that? Even though I can see what you have, what can I do about your Red Hulk? I can't do anything about it. That's the problem. When you see an opponent playing certain cards, right? If I see my opponent play Deadpool, I know for a fact they have Carnage. I can't do anything about it unless I have Cosmo or Armor, right? I can say, oh, they have Red Hulk. Let me make sure I save my Shang for the last turn. Oh, you gonna save him for the last turn? Well, cool. I got my Nebula on the board, so you better play. You better play right here. or my Nebula is just gonna keep getting stronger. Like, you guys understand what I'm saying? This card is so strong with no downside to it. I don't understand. They can, like, the 2 points, like I said, after one turn he has 13 power, stronger than every other card in the game outside of Red Skull and these 4, and all 5 of those cards can't be used freely. Like, this doesn't make any, like, why won't they just make his ability +2 and take and make him 6'8"? This is way too strong, bro. Like, am I the only? 6'9" is way too. They could make him 6'4" if they're gonna keep the plus. They could make him 6'0" if they're gonna keep the +4. Y'all, let me know if I'm just so crazy for thinking the way that I think about this card. But I think that this nerf literally means nothing. Congratulations, I have a, instead of having a 6'15" card, guarantee you have a 6'13" card. Still one of the strongest cards in the game. You're still gonna win every match that you won before. This nerf means nothing. All right, so that's all the, I might complain a little bit about this, so that's not all the complaints that we have for today. Let's move on to US Agent. But y'all let me know about what y'all think about Red Hulk, man. So US Agent, they gave him an extra you know, power to his ability. So all your 4, 5s, and 6s have -4 instead of -3. I don't have US Agent. I'm saving all my keys for Valentina. I don't, you know what, let's read first. On the flip side, US Agent released a bit on the weak side. This change to Zabu, reducing the number of 4-cost cards in play, combined with the resurgence of Angela-based Swarm decks, probably reduce the potential impact of US Agent. However, the data doesn't indicate that this card is too far off the mark, so we're improving it just a little. I don't see how. Obviously, you know, Angela hopes that deck is still popular. I don't understand why they won't just target that if they want to nerf something. But you know, I can see this getting really out of hand, and the reason for that is, you know, it just allows you to play cards like, well, first of all, you can obviously counter him with Rogue, Enchantress, and Luke Cage, right? Pretty much the same for all power taking away type of cards. But I can see this becoming a problem because it just makes the weaker cards too strong now, like Nebula, Lizard. Like, those are just gonna see even higher rates of play, since they're so worried about the rates of play, instead of just nerfing the broken cards. Like, you're just gonna make more cards broken by giving US Agent this good of an ability. I thought he was fine already, right? So, and on top of that, they talked about how 4-cost cards aren't being played. So why buff this and not Man Thing? Like, it some of these decisions that they make and the reasoning just doesn't make sense to me, man. But I think that's all the complaining, because the rest of the cards, I think they actually did a good thing. Now let's read those. Jean Grey, they gave her 1 more power. She's 3/4 now. Let's read why they did that. No, this isn't just because we're all loving X-Men 97, although that's definitely true. Jean has stood on the edge of the balancing knife for some time now, with an effect that can be frustratingly strong. However, with the metagame seeing a major uptick in big combos like Annihilus and Hela, along with Angela-based decks easily evading the effects downside, now seems like a good time to explore pushing a bit more power into one of the strongest X-Men genes ongoing, can uniquely hurt specific opponents alongside tech cards like Cosmo and Echo, offering players who enjoy a more controlling strategy a new way to play. I think this is good, man. Lockdown decks, I feel like they kind of fell off because nobody's really concerned when you're filling up the board with debris, or you're sending all the stuff to the other side with Annihilus, and you have Jeff on every deck, right? So I guess you do need a little tool, man. This is also cool because it makes the Guardians just a little bit better because she's a little bit better, right? So that's cool. Just giving us more play styles is a good thing, man. And this is kind of, you know, we need more play styles because all the toxic decks are the best ones right now. I agree with making the weak card stronger, because it allows you to play the game in a variety of different ways. This wasn't a weak card, and that's why I don't agree with why they changed this, right? Let's go ahead and read stature as well, man. They gave her 1 point of power back. Similarly, stature has proven that 1 more power is within reach. This has been an unusual card to monitor, as every now and then we'll see stature temporarily vault into our top 10 cards on internal metrics, but never make a prolonged stay. After seeing the cycle often enough, we've chalked it up to the cynical pressure of Mobius Mobius in various decks. With Pixie decks that always play Mobius performing well lately, it's fair to give stature a small buff in compensation for that vulnerability. Yeah, man, I mean, look, they keep releasing stronger and stronger cards, like the Red Hulk, who I just complained about for 6 minutes. You might as well just make all the OG cards a little bit stronger, right? So I think I agree with this change. And again, it's cool because now you get to use like Black Bolt and stuff, like Black Bolt and stature a little bit more, because they didn't really see play because she was kind of weak. So yeah, man, just bring all the weaker stuff. Just give that a little bit more strength. I agree with that, right? Mantis, they made her cost 1. She used to cost 1. I wonder why they did that. Let's read. Admittedly, we were quite conservative on the previous function to change Mantis, going with 2/2 out of concern for the card becoming annoying against enemy venoms and the like. Since those fears proved unfounded, we're restoring Mantis to 1/2. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, why use Mantis when I can just why copy my card when I could just take your whole deck away with Baron Zemo, Cable, Yondu, Gladiator, you know, that type of deck, right? So I feel like this is fine, man. I still don't see anybody use, I mean, you use Mantis on like a Devil Dinosaur, but again, like, why use her when you could just use like Snowguard, Mariah Hill, you know, Quinjet, all those type of cards. But I mean, she needed something, so this is cool, right? You're gonna be able to use her just a bit more. You know what I'm saying? Jane, this Jane change is interesting. They gave her 1 more. I mean, you're most likely to see Jane with like either a Mr. Negative deck or a Lockjaw deck, my bad. And since those decks are, I guess they're not really strong right now, I agree with this change as well, just to again promote a different type of play style, get more people using Thor and Beta Ray Bill, right? So let's go ahead and read. They probably gonna bring that up. Last but not least, the mighty Thor. It's no secret that we think the Asgard theme deck built around finding and slamming various hammers is a lot of fun, and players seem to agree. It's an archetype that fits with competitive play fairly often. As this is being written, Beta Ray Bill is on the rise but struggles to maintain such performance. In fact, we're chalking part of that up to the new Sandman punishing turn 5 Jane especially well. Adding a bit of power for those games where you have to prove your worth the hard way makes sense. Yeah, man, I mean, basically what I was saying, right? Like, get more people using Beta Ray, get more people using Thor, not Jane, Thor, even though they call her Thor. But yeah, y'all, that's gonna be it pretty quick. I didn't want to rant too long this time, y'all. The last one was like 30 minutes. But y'all let me know what y'all think of this patch, man. Like I said, I don't like these first 2 changes, but I agree with these last 4, because it's like, I see like balance. I see like 2 good ways to balance the game. You make the broken stuff weaker, and you make the trash stuff stronger. They kind of tried to do that, but like I said, I don't agree with the way they did that for these two, because this wasn't really bad, and this doesn't really make him any less broken than he was, in my opinion. But y'all let me know what y'all think. As always, y'all be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 2K. I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.
Yeah.